The first book in the Archives of Icínq-Régn series is called The Heirs of Menonias. The book opens amidst a catastrophic battle between the allied forces of Ramdan Kelle and the military forces of Menonias. The battle takes place at Helsin Fortress, the stronghold of the Archmagus. In the events that preceded the opening of the story, Menonias has tirelessly worked to throw the region into chaos by exterminating the dragons. By this point, he had sent his forces to the dragon nests to eradicate as many of the beasts as possible. He had also coerced the elf princess Carmagan into telling him where the nests had been located, and as a result, she committed suicide by jumping from the tower of the fortress. Towards the end of the battle, a trio of mages cornered Menonias atop the very tower Carmagan had used to kill herself. They distracted him long enough for a young mystic named Dobrin to launch a magically charged arrow right between Menonias' eyes. From there, the remaining leaders of the region decided to establish the nation of Icínq-Régn, the Five Kingdoms. The story jumps ahead 200 years, and readers are introduced to Gavin Lake, an orphan who grew up in an orphanage in Orados, a town in Pascodal that sits near Orados Lake just east of the sanctuary forest. When he was a child, he had been mistreated, thinking that he was behind some mysterious deaths around the grounds of the orphanage. It turned out he was being hunted by vipers, dragons that had been mutated into mindless beasts by dark magic. With the help of a young dragon named Nex, Gavin escapes and is led to the dragon council that exists deep within the sanctuary forest. There he learns that he is the Dragonist, a warrior bonded in mind and spirit with a dragon. He and Nex are bonded, and he spends the next 2 decades living nomadically and working as a ranger, living off the land and meting out justice throughout the region. Readers are also introduced to Asher, a priest in training at the monastery Tempilkra in the southern portion of Pascodal. The third hero readers are introduced to is Amara, the third-born princess of Maiga. She is a gifted mage trained under the tutelage of Dobrin, who has become her father's royal advisor and Amara's teacher. Amara has spent her 18 years of life growing up in the former elf capital of Icínq-Régn. She is the reincarnated spirit of Carmagan. Readers are also introduced to 3 antagonists. The first is Ceres, a senator from Chi-Sen. The second is Tradian, the self-proclaimed despot of Terran Kolto, where he reigns from the city of Helsin, which sprung up around the fortress proper. The third is Lord General Ahriman of Pascodal. He is the third in the line of succession for the throne of Pascodal and the leader of the military. Each of these men are magic users in their own right, but of the 3 of them, Tradian is the only one who openly practices and has risen to the level of Magus. These 3 men are the titular heirs of Menonias. Ahriman's liege, Krondak, receives word that Tradian is mobilizing his forces. When he asks Ahriman where Princess Kendra is, Ahriman explains that his spies tracked her to the monastery. Ahriman is very aware that Krondak's daughter has been spending time with Asher. Krondak travels from Apone to the monastery and confronts his daughter. She stands in his way to keep him from killing Asher, but he kills both of them when he finds out that she is pregnant with Asher's child. Asher's powers as the Akadasur, an ancient celestial being, emerge from the first time, and he executes Krondak in front of his royal guard. Shortly after that, Asher becomes a fugitive. Ahriman follows him into the sanctuary forest, breaking the laws of the 5 kingdoms to pursue him. Gavin comes to Asher's rescue, and the fight turns against the 2 heroes. However, before the pair can be killed by Ahriman and his soldiers, the heroes are pulled through a slipgate by Princess Amara, and they spend the next month in Icínq-Régn training to face the heirs. During this time, Gavin and Nex learn to completely bond with one another. Meanwhile, the heirs have concocted a plan to travel together with their armies to the center of the Three Sands Desert, so that they can release a demon named Jadahiri Nethbani from her prison deep inside the Temple of Warman. The armies meet on the border of the sanctuary forest and bond Ahriman's spirit with that of a viper alpha named Ith. Ith was once supposed to be bonded to Menonias in the years before the Magus tyranny. Together, Ith and Ahriman become a viper mist. a dark equal to Gavin and Nex. Gavin is sent on a training journey to find the Elder Dragons. Asher and Amara set out to follow him, but are set upon by vampires. During their time in the underground cavern, Asher is bitten and turned into a vampire. During a meeting with the first Dragon Elder, Gavin is forced to choose between continuing his training or helping his friends. He chooses to help his friends, which allows him to rescue Amara from a transformed Asher, who is rampaging through the caverns. The pair escape as Asher goes flying off into the night. Gavin and Amara find shelter with a mutual friend before traveling on to the Dragon Council. The council informs Gavin that he has been disavowed because he failed to complete his training. Amara comforts him, and the two admit that they have fallen in love with one another. But before anything else can be said or done, Amara is pulled through a slipgate that deposits her and Dobrin, the two most powerful mages in Myga, in the Temple of Warman. They are now the prisoners of Tradian and the Viper Mist. Ceres is not there because Tradian betrayed him earlier and left him for dead in the midst of the desert. In quick order, Tradian spears Dobrin into a wall in the temple, and the Viper Mist slits Amara's throat to release the demon. Gavin shows up in his full Dragon Mist form and fights the Viper Mist. Ith by now has destroyed Aramon's consciousness with his own. Gavin loses the fight with Ith when the Viper Mist rips Nex's spirit from Gavin's body and kills them both. Asher wakes up atop the temple when the demon leaves her prison and kills Tradian and his soldiers. Asher has become fully cured from his vampirism by his powers. He fights the demon and destroys her, using traces of her spirit and Nex's to create a new unhatched dragon egg. The story ends with the secret door opening in the Temple of Warman. A voice speaks from the darkened opening with a single word, "Arise."